Hello. This thing's still not behaving itself. Let's see what we can get it to do. Alright, let's see. Oops. Wrong thing. Bruh. I think I'm gonna have to relink this thing. Eh. Eh. Okay, and then okay. Hey, look at that. It's loading. By the way, everybody, Phil Special Meter, if you're new here, we're in the loading screen. Show hasn't started for real, but we will get started shortly. This is just what I do during setup. Give my regulars a chance to chat with me while I get my shit together. You know, this is fucking what I do. We call this so smart light. Why don't we call this lamp? We'll just say stream lamp. Not to be confused with Streamlabs. At least there's pretty lights. Unless this thing doesn't fucking work. It was just... I just paired you. What's wrong? Something about the position of this that's fucked up. I mean, don't be covering up my Elrics, though. My Elric bros cannot be covered up. Alright, let's see. The fuck, bro? I just mapped you. What the fuck is wrong? Hold on. Try this again. Maybe it's just this app sucks. This app might be the problem, not the lamp. Also, am I connected to the right Wi-Fi? Yeah. Connected to the proper Wi-Fi. You're just gonna play me like that? That's what we doing now? That's all I've done for you? Bruh. Bruh. Mother ducker. Alright, so we're gonna have to do this, I think. It's just wild. Something about when I first put it in. Bruh. This app is so jank. Do it. Why is it taking so long as well? That's kind of crazy. Like, I can see it loading. Alright, well, whatever. While it thinks about that. How are the doggos, by the way? How have they been? No, sorry. I ask about your dogs, not your kids. But I think it's partially because I just figure, like, yeah, you know, babies are pretty straightforward most of the time. Let's see. Oh, showering because I smell like wet dog. I see now. I missed that bit. I'll check in with you when you get back. Just want to see how we're doing over here. I don't have to do that. I can look over here. Yeah. It's kind of perfect. All right, cool. It's like a nice slow night. I know over on the East Coast, it's super late for everybody. But I'm actually kind of good with that. All right, why don't we go ahead and start this thing off proper? Roll the title sequence. Yo, 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 yo. What's going on, everybody? Hopefully my mic is coming through. I want to double check. Yes, it is. Quite loudly, actually. Move this shit down. In any case, what's up, everybody? My name is Phil Special Meter. Welcome into the Special Meter community. And if you are new, hope you have a good time. If you're returning, fuck you. You're already locked in, so I don't have to impress you anymore. I'll play. If you're returning, thank you so much for coming back by and hanging out. Welcome back. This is a hard mode selected channel. There we go. Hard mode selected is a little sort of a superhero team up between myself, just underscore Drado, and Skipper Finn. We host a podcast. We play games together. We do all kinds of stuff that you can check out at the link that I'll post. Might as well start the stream off by Big Pimpin', right? Let's pimp that pod. For example, you can catch us giving a react video to the the most recent Mortal Kombat 2 trailer, which is the first Mortal Kombat 2 trailer for the film. I'm on that hard mode. That musical cue was a little late, but yeah, you can definitely check that out. It's a lot of fun. We make a lot of fun references to Mortal Kombat Annihilation as well, and just talk about Mortal Kombat as a film franchise and what we're looking for going forward. So, yeah, hard mode selected. I'm so happy this channel is officially part of that. But yeah, welcome to Phil Special Meter. We're gonna, my name's Phil. I am the Phil Special Meter, and we are going to do a Talk It Out Tuesday. I think that's what I named this. Hold on, let me check. That shit, is that what I fucking named this shit? I just made this up like a week or two ago. Yeah, Talk Through It Tuesday. Talk Through It Tuesday. This is the very first episode of Talk Through It Tuesday, and we are going to be tackling the subject of burnout. So we're gonna go ahead and get into burnout, psychological, creative, mental, emotional, spiritual burnout. And we're going to get down to the bottom of what that's like and, what do we do when we're there? I decide which screen I want to do this from. I don't think I want to do it from intermission. Intermission's kind of questionable, so I think we're gonna do it from here. But I do know that the intro music is playing, and so I'm just gonna. If you're on the Red app, the intro music is playing, so I'm just gonna go ahead and silence that for a bit. What if I... Hold on. I always wonder if I mute it from there, is it still playing? Let me see. Where's it? Intro music. That's what I need to do. Huzzah! All right, cool. Because I mean, it'd be nice to have some music playing throughout. I gotta get better at these as I go. Add more music tracks that are license free that you can enjoy in the VOD. But I didn't want that to just be cycling through the whole time. It's not that long of a song. In any case, here we are. And so I don't know exactly how to start this, so I'll just go ahead and start somewhere. Let me adjust this in my ear though real quick. Hold on, y'all. Why am I not seeing the info though for what's currently playing? It's kind of weird. Did I do something weird with it? Oh, it's up there. Wow, where the snake? It would have bit me right in this side of my head. I was looking for this. I was making sure that was visible. But anyways, for those who want to get up in my playlists and know what I'm listening to these days, the playlist I listen to while I'm on pod and while I'm on stream are publicly available. You can search me under Phil Special Meter on Spotify, and you can get to me that way. We have an ad break coming in about 3 minutes. So instead of getting all up in this shit, I'm just going to go ahead and grab snacks. I don't know, grab more to drink. I highly encourage you to do the same. Now for this discussion pod episode, essentially, every week, I mean, not every week, but every Talk Through It Tuesday that I host, I'm going to pick like a topic or have you guys pick a topic, and we're just going to talk through some real shit, some life stuff. It doesn't have to be serious. It doesn't have to be like tragic. It doesn't have to be, deep, but like the idea is to create a space on Tuesdays where we can talk about real shit and go as far as we need to with that. And those who don't want to get into real shit can be like, all right, I'll skip the Tuesday stream, but I'll catch you the rest of the week. That's kind of the idea, because I know that like a lot of people have voiced that like, when they're getting on Twitch, they're not really here for like heavy stuff and real world stuff. They're just here to keep it light and have a blast, kind of get a kind of escape from the things that kind of hound us in our day-to-day lives, and just want to chill. Don't want to have to feel like they have to do anything, which is usually the vibe of my streams. For a long time, I've kept, like world events, politics. I did talk about mental health. I have talked about mental health. I have talked about real life, trauma and things like that. And like I have talked about various things that are emotional and deep, but like usually there's kind of a cap to it. And I usually try to like limit, how I'm explaining this so terribly. Basically, we could talk about real life stuff, but like just not necessarily world events and politics and things that might be just like really distressing for people. Yo, welcome back from the shower, Uzikins, Uzi Wan Kenobi, Uzi of Light. Yeah. Anyways, we try to talk. How are the dogs, by the way? I was trying to ask that, but you were away. And thanks for the boop. The weather is warmer than I would like it to be. You know what I mean? Like it's just warmer than I would like it to be, but it is what it is. But I have AC. I can't complain. I have working air conditioner, working central air, so I can't complain. But anyways, like I was explaining to everyone, yeah, like normally, on a normal stream, and I gotta put this up here. So let me go to put this command, because that's the rule. We're also gonna pin this. Sick. There we go. And so now, for Talk Through Tuesday, like, we're going to have the trigger warning just pinned there. We also have the tag that the sort of content warning, classification label, politics and sensitive social issues and blah blah blah. This particular Talk Through Tuesday isn't necessarily geared towards a political or world issue. This is a lot more personal, introspective, mental health stuff, but still, it's on there just in case. Those things tend to intertwine. A lot of issues that you talk about or we talk about are connected to other issues, and I don't want to like necessarily pigeonhole where the conversation can go. But yeah, as I was explaining, like normally during streams, we have a trigger warning command when people need to share something real, because in our day-to-day lives, sometimes you just need somebody to you just need to feel seen, and listened to. And maybe you've had a day and you just need to just speak on that for a second. And I always want this to be a safe space to do that. However, there's a little bit of a cap between like how far into that you can go, just to keep everyone else safe as far as like, trauma and triggers and things of that nature. So we try to be mindful of that. And then world events and politics I keep completely out of the streams because, I've tried to cultivate the space for people to come in and just kind of relax and take a load off and, just not have to be in all of that for a little bit. But I never aimed to be a stream that was like, keep it light, no heavy topics, no real world. Like, I don't want to like restrict the stream into like positive vibes only territory. Obviously we're not hosting any toxicity over here, but I do want people to be able to say what's really going on with them, or what they're really thinking about, or worried about, or excited about, or have overcome, all the whole spectrum, So I've been really cooking this segment up to have a way to have a kind of a no holds barred discussion about like whatever we want to talk about, that hopefully that Twitch, that the two apps I'm on, that the purple app and the red app, that their terms of service won't necessarily rail me for, which I'm such a small channel. Like, honestly, the odds of them coming at me for anything I'm doing right now is slim, but still, try to walk that line. But yeah, Tuesdays we get to talk about real shit. It'll be a very like kind of like self-contained thing, and then the rest of the streams will be what you're used to, which is just me fucking around and finding out in video games, or just sitting in positive vibes and having some laughs. So I'm gonna grab. No, I'm good. I don't need to grab anything. I got this water right here. How are them pups? 7 pangs of shag. Oh wait, hold on. Sipping sake, watching Harley Quinn season 3 HBO. Nice, nice. I know how big of a Harley Quinn stan you are. So, I watched a funny ass video earlier today that referenced Harley Quinn, which I will share at some point. But like, I'm glad you brought this up. This reminds me that I want to do something very specific later, to tie off the stream. So I'm gonna go. Let's see. I went back to finish it. Nice. Harley Quinn's one of those series that like I feel kind of like I don't resent it, but like it's just sort of like I don't enjoy it as much as a lot of people do, only because I'm like, I get that it's parody and it's all for the gags, right? And it has some legitimately funny moments, but I'm just like some of the choices they make with some of the characters, I'm like, I can't get into this. But no, I think it's a clever show. But I think the humor is hit and miss with me. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just, it's not for me, and that's okay. But I recognize that it is struck a chord with a lot of people, right? So I'm just rewatching out of Read it, watch now. Oh, I got you. I got you. I mean, I read the EBK Tour comics, and that's literally season 3. Oh, okay, got you. Got you. Got you. Got you. That's what's up. Shout out to Harley Quinn though. Like Harley Quinn is just like come a long way. Just like very popular character, rising up out of obscurity, rising up out of being created for Batman the Animated Series, which ties in a little bit to what we'll be talking about tonight. And taking on a life of her own. You know, she's standing shoulder to shoulder with Joker and Batman as just a prominent character in pop culture. But all right, yeah. So, as noted, oh, there we go. I'm trying to keep my PlayStation from turning off, even though I'm not playing right now. Burnout. That's what we're here to talk about. Let me grab some music that's a little less distracting. Hold on, yo. I keep forgetting to make an instrumental playlist, but I think I got something for that. If I just head to the end of this playlist. Oops, okay. No? There we are. Ooh, that would be smart. That's the smart playlist to use. Now I know where to go. Now I know what I'm doing. If I ever do. Sick. All right, there we go. There we go. Some a little less distracting in my ear. Okay. Okay. So, I guess real talk. I'll just treat this kind of like a video blog. Uh, yeah. So recently, and I know that some of you have noticed, I haven't really been on consistently. I've been on at weird hours, random day. I still hit the days like when I do come on. Like I do hit it like a Monday or a Tuesday or Wednesday or you know something of that nature. But like, yeah, it's been real spotty. And recently this weekend I came to the conclusion that like really unavoidably I've finally hit the throes of burnout. Um, in case we have some people from, you know, some international folks who may not have that in their lexicon, burnout just refers to, oh my God, this light is so loose, refers to the concept of, you know, you've been going so hard and doing so much that eventually you just kind of like run out of energy, run out of mental bandwidth, sort of run out of the wherewithal or the energy to do anything. You just kind of like you kind of crash. Um, and so I think I've been you know really kind of in I think I kind of been doing, you know, how do I want to put this? Just the most, and not because I want to, but just because it's a tricky thing surviving out here in Los Angeles on my own, and you know, with the very unique ball of wax that I have, you know, it's just sort of like it's a large undertaking. No matter where I live, even you know, just sort of chronic illness, you know, mental health challenges. You know, financial burdens, all those things kind of catch up with you at all times, and you get used to it. You know, if you have that fight in you that I have, you push through it. You get used to it, and you know you fight these things so long that sometimes you forget that you're even fighting them. Sometimes it's just like, oh, this is my life now. So you stop thinking about it. But sometimes I have to really remind myself, like, oh, I'm always working out of a deficit, and I therefore need to take certain care and precautions in you know how I go about my life, how I move forward. And so it occurred to me this past weekend, like this past weekend was rough. Like I really like towards the end of last week, I was just like by Thursday or so, I was just really kind of running out of mental fortitude to do much of anything. You know, I got done with the work I needed to do for my day job as a casting director. got that to a kind of a natural closure point because right now, for the next phase of it, I'm really relying on somebody else to sort of come in and like, give me more materials to work with. So until that happens, I'm just kind of like, yeah, after Uzi, there's no, there will be absolutely no casting couch at the Phil Special Meter casting department. Though I will say, you do find yourself being like, damn, I didn't know they built people this pretty. This is ridiculous. But like, no casting couch, none whatsoever. In any case, and thankfully for what I'm doing, I really don't get to make the final call and who gets hired anyways. I just kind of like, I just get to pare down the list essentially. I think technically I'm more of a casting coordinator than director, but either way, I mean, at the end of the day, it's the same gig. You go through all the auditions, you narrow down the list, you hand it over to whoever's in charge and be like, hey, these are the best. And then they go, these three. And I'm like, word. And then I contact those three. So in any case, yeah, I've been going pretty hard at that. I have been navigating, trying to survive in this expensive ass apartment on my own. And I've been navigating, what else? Just, the plethora of medical appointments I have to get to. There's constantly things falling through the cracks. There's not enough hours in the day. There's always something that's left undone. That's rather important, but unfortunately, I can only do so much. I've actually recently been going into the process, and I got approved. I found out today, actually, that I was approved for in-home supportive services. So, like, to get some help with, like, just chores and, sort of day-to-day stuff that, like, is getting out of hand. I would hazard to show you what the rest of the rest of this room looks like right now. You're getting the nice cleaned up portion that is my workstation. But yeah, it's just sort of, I don't know. I found myself this weekend, like I had an audition to do, and I still do, and I still have to decide whether I'm going to actually follow through and do it. An audition come up. I've had a laundry list of things I've been meaning to get to for, weeks and weeks, both creatively for myself, like doing the Phil Special Meter thing and doing the hard mode selected thing. There are things I would like to just go ahead and put into production and finish. And then there are things, I want to, work on as an actor. There are fitness goals I have now that I'm well enough to exercise again. But I hit Thursday or so, and not only was burnout really starting to set in, but I also around the same time got very ill. So my chronic condition kicked in. I was in stupid amounts of pain, and I was very tired. So bad cocktail all around for a pretty shitty weekend. That said, I'm always pretty self-aware when these things happen. Even when there's a shift in my mental health, I can always, kind of clock it. And it's really interesting that there's this difference. There's this like, I'll probably do another talk about this, but there's this distance between like the head and the heart that's pretty expansive. Like, you can be mentally aware and understand what you need to do, what will help you, what the moves are, and then emotionally just be so far away from actually having the wherewithal to do any of it. So this whole weekend was like, all right, dude, just get up and take a shower. Dude, just like take out the trash. Dude, just like literally like go for a walk. Just fucking clean something up around here. Just do something. And work on some stuff. There's some things I could do for my casting job that would allow me to essentially prepare for the next stage, that will allow me to sort of like have certain ducks in a row so that the next stage goes smoother. Couldn't do it. This audition I knew I wanted to participate in, just didn't do it. I still have time, but didn't do it. And I was really struggling. I did manage to do a few things. So one of the things that's interesting about going into burnout or severe anxiety or depression, which, I deal with both. Anxiety, I would say, is not one of the most prominent mental health conditions I have, but it is always there. There's always a certain amount of anxiety kind of like underneath the surface, I think. but like it's one of the symptoms I usually manage pretty well, just because I typically deal more with the depressive side of things than like the sort of high strung side of things. But both were present. And so I had both going on simultaneously this weekend on top of my health issues. And I was just like, oh shit, this is bad. This is real bad. How do I fucking like spiral? I don't want to waste all of these days. Right. Cause it's rare that I have kind of like this break in the workflow that I can actually do some things I just kind of fucking want to do. But I just didn't have it in me to do so. But I did manage in the midst of this, even with all that going on, I did manage to do a couple things. And so I was able to meet up with a new coworker that I had introduced myself to online. Like, you know, now that I'm doing casting, I'm working remotely. And there's a gentleman who's like an editor that I noticed was on our team, and I never like met him, and we never been introduced. So I was like, oh fuck it, I'll just send him an email, be like, yo, what's up? Just saying hi. Don't need anything from me. I'm from the casting department. Just say him, you know, what's up and all that. And like, dude had such a really warm and such a genuine response to it. Just was like, you know, he's kind of up there in age like I am, and just is like, I don't go out anymore. I don't really like, you know. Now that I'm working remotely as an editor, I don't really meet my coworkers and stuff. So, you know, we made plans to meet up on Saturday. Now, mind you, Thursday, I'm already starting to feel like shit. Friday, I'm like, oh man, I don't know if I'm gonna get up tomorrow and do anything. But we had already made these plans that we were gonna grab breakfast and like kind of get to know each other and our stories and how we got into entertainment and whatever. And so I was just like, okay. I know you don't feel like it. I know it'd be easy to flake. I know it'd be easy to cancel. I know you just would love to just be able to say, you know, you even have a legitimate capacity to this, right? Like I was legitimately starting to be in pain and stuff. So like I could have just called it off and been like, hey, I actually am sick though. And that's true. You know, that's not even bullshit. I was and still am a little sick. I'm due for my apheresis exchange on Thursday. So hopefully that will help once I get that done. But in the meantime, you know, I'm really hurting. And so I'm like, I could just call this off. And I was just like, you know what? No, because you need this right now. You need something to help you get up and just like, you know, get out of your own head for a bit. So I met up with him on Saturday. I was like 30 minutes late, but I did make it. And he was cool about it. And we had a great talk, and it was cool. And, you know, I may have potentially made a new friend. And we, you know, have loose plans to like maybe get in some exercise together, play some basketball or something, you know, whatever, and collaborate professionally as well. So that was cool. But yeah, the whole time, this whole weekend, I had this inner dialogue of like, dude, do more, do something, you know, like get something done off the to-do list. And ultimately, emotionally and just like spirit wise, I was just like, nah, don't think I will. And that sucks. It sucks to be torn between those two parts of yourself. Like, you know, you're already feeling you're already feeling under depression and the weight of anxiety and stuff. And then, you know, there's just like an unending list of things to get done, and you have an opportunity to capitalize on like some time you have, but then the body and mind are just like, not this time, bro. You just have to sit your ass down. And like, then there's that internal guilt of like, you know, hey, you should be doing stuff. You know, you could be doing, like, it'd be so simple for you to just get up and just do the thing. I couldn't even get myself to do the laundry. It was just like, and I had to come to terms with the fact over the weekend that like, oh, okay, you know what? As much as you don't want to admit it, as much as you don't want to be here, you've been in survival mode for a long time. You know, especially moving to LA and the ups and downs of living here, and the systems and corrupt people you've come against that have made your life harder. You know, you really had to fight through all that. And so you're in a mode of like, I just have to keep going because that's how I'm going to push through, and that's how I'm going to survive. That's how I'm going to eventually get where I want to get. And it's like the Sisyphean torment of like, you know, pushing the boulder up the hill, and like the next day you have to start over because it rolls all the way back down. You have to, you know, it just feels fruitless, and it feels like, oh my God, this is going to be the rest of my life until I fucking die. And I think some of that starts to take the wind out of the sails subconsciously even. And ultimately at some point you have to recharge the batteries, and at least I do. And I have to like acknowledge the fact that while it's not my fault that there's certain things I have to work through that I didn't ask for. And I also have these big dreams and goals inside of me of places that I'm trying to reach and things I'm trying to do with my life, endeavors that I want to persist in, and I am persisting in. But there's a lot to manage, and ultimately at some point I have to be able to sort of, come back up for air. I have to be able to sort of, regardless of what's still on the to-do list, regardless of what's still going on, I need to find a way to get out of survival mode and stop putting out fires nonstop in my life. That's at some point you got, for my own mental health, I have to be able to just find a good stopping point, chill for a while, I think one of the problems is I don't think I take enough time to process anymore. It's not encouraged in our hustle grind culture, especially out here in La La Land. And so, you're too busy trying to stay ahead of capitalism, which you can't possibly do. So you're really just playing catch up with capitalism, trying to survive. And you have to be productive to do that. But we're not worker bots, and we're not supposed to be. Capitalism is a scam, and we're all being taken advantage of, and it's just another form of slavery. And it's important to recognize that one of the most empowering things you can do for yourself is to rest. And I know I'd be saying that at the end of every stream, like, hey, get your rest and whatever, get your rest. But as I've said before, I say it for me as much as I say it for y'all, maybe even more so for me, just because I know that it's an easy thing to sort of shrug off. I was watching this video clip today on Instagram. This monk was, I think he was a Buddhist monk, was explaining there's only today, right? Like, there's only today. Your whole life is today, which I thought was really beautiful and poignant. And that is kind of how I feel. Like, I do kind of think of my life as just like one big continuous, like I'm just here and like now, and like it doesn't mean I'm always present and always mindful. It just means that like I recognize that I'm always so caught up in just like what I need to be doing at the moment that like I don't really it doesn't really feel like, all right, there's yesterday, then today, and then the next day. It all feels like it kind of just runs together. And so much so that like it makes it hard to remember certain things that happened years ago, because it's just like, oh yeah, I don't know, I'm just always like kind of thinking about the next thing I gotta do. I'm not really thinking about like a lot of those milestones and things along the way. But anyways, there's only today, right? And like he said so beautifully, and I'm butchering it, but the point is, like, we've all heard it before, past is already dead, tomorrow hasn't happened yet, just you have right now. But the way he put it, there's only like your whole life is today, was really just something that like hit with me and resonated. And with that in mind, I think that it's a good tool to sort of remind myself to make sure I enjoy, because one of his points was just like, don't do the thing where like you'll be happy tomorrow, right? Or you'll be happy once you get the thing, or or you'll put it off till later. Your enjoyment of your life. You'll just right now you're in grind mode. You just got to grind, and enjoyment will come later. It's like, no. Yeah, I understand what it is to be in certain cycles where you just have to work your ass off, and there isn't room for a lot else, right? And that happens. That happens to me all the time. But it is absolutely, I agree, it's absolutely a waste to go a full calendar day and not enjoy any aspect of it. That fucking sucks. Like, yeah, grind, get your paper, like get where you're going in life, conquer those goals, etc. But like, even if you are in grind mode, if you did nothing but grind from sun up to sundown, and there's no part of that day that you enjoyed, that is really dangerous because the truth is, to be a little morbid, we don't know, how much longer any of us have at any given moment. And so, like, I was watching this retrospective on Kevin Conroy, the voice actor for Batman, across many different many different iterations. Most famously, Batman the animated series and the DC animated universe. Batman Beyond, Justice League, etc., etc. He was Batman Bruce Wayne, and then in the Arkham games and all that. And like, I was watching this, and he had really imparted this wisdom from he didn't, I think it was an episode of Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum, but he did this interview where he was just talking about like his last moments with his dad, right? When his dad passed away, and like he was talking about how his dad was just staring off in the distance, just being like, the great Conroy, referring to himself, right? Like just this idea of like his dad spent all this time trying to be something or someone and didn't focus on what really, really mattered. And Kevin, was there with him till the end. And Kevin Conroy really walked away with this sense of, wow, that's the greatest lesson my dad ever gave me. His relationship with his dad was not great, but he worked really hard towards the end to try and mend the fence. And he realized that like, oh my God, like that's the biggest lesson I can possibly get from my dad. It's just like, you do not want to be on your deathbed thinking, oh fuck, I wasted this. I wasted the whole thing. I did this whole thing wrong. Like, you don't want that vibe. You don't want that hanging over you. And I don't like that feeling. Even as somebody who's living in the present and still alive and happy to be alive, thankful to be alive, I should say. Happy might be a stretch sometimes, given the world we live in. But there is happiness within being alive, and there's joy there, and I do appreciate that. But there's a lot to deal with, and I think that I'm constantly cognizant of like, well, what am I doing with my time? Like, I don't want to waste it. I really hate wasted time. It's probably my biggest pet peeve, because time, like money, I can fuck up my money, and while not pleasant, not great, that's still a man-made construct of just like made up value, essentially, that we use to govern our society. But like, even though it has real results, tangible things that you can do with that money that gets you certain opportunities to do things with your life, like eat, or have a way of getting from point A to point B, or seeing doctors because we live under capitalism. But the thing is, money has its value and its place, but it will always pale in comparison to time. That old phrase, time is money, was always complete bullshit. Time is not money. Money is so infinitesimal compared to the value of time. Somebody on their deathbed's not going like, man, I sure wish I had some, a couple extra bucks right now. They're going like, I wish I had a little bit more time, right? Money you can make more of. Time you can't get back. So I take that very seriously. And so I think a lot about like, what am I doing? And I know that also can be a source of anxiety. So you got to like, temper that with other things to focus on in your mind. But I do try to be at least somewhat aware of it. And I'm just like, no, like I can't, no matter what it is I'm trying to accomplish right now with my life, and no matter how hard that is and what challenges it presents, I really do have to make sure that I'm not letting whole days and even more so, I'm not just letting hours upon hours go by without enjoying myself. Like, that's crazy. And I think there are these times where I'm just like so beholden to the things I have to do to survive that I have to remind myself and check myself, like I did this weekend, and remind myself, like, there are times when you absolutely just have to allow yourself a break. It's better if you can plan the breaks, if you can be like kind of responsible every day and make sure there's a little bit of every day that you allow yourself to just, not have to be anything or anywhere or anyone, and just kind of fucking just be with yourself. And whether that's quiet time, whether you're reading a book, whether you're doing something mindless, like, playing a game that's not too complicated, or whatever the fuck it is, giving yourself that time to just be and enjoy being yourself. is important. So it's good if you can get that in a little bit every day at least, but at most, like, definitely don't let yourself get in a combo pattern of like letting enjoyment escape your life. And so I think what I felt this weekend, on top of just being dog shit sick, was this feeling of I constantly have to take care of stuff. And I'm just like, you can't work yourself like that, Phil, like all the time. At some point, you do have to go, I'm chilling. But this bill isn't paid, and you have this, you have this mound of work and blah 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 blah. It's like, so what? I still need to chill. I need to. It's not a luxury. It's not something that I get for being a good boy. Like, it's something that I need to be healthy. And so I think I don't intend to, but there are times where I'm so caught up in, again, putting out life's fires that I forget that, yeah, that's important. Those things are urgent and vital, but so is making sure you have something left in the tank to draw from. And that's important to me as an actor, like having life experiences and fun and, enjoyment and exploration, and freedom. Just living is where I draw from to be able to perform as an actor and entertainer. And just the same, in order to do the more menial tasks I have to do in my day job or in my other responsibilities, it's like I still need that kind of sense of my body will revolt against me. And my brain is included in that. My brain is part of my body. My body will revolt against me if I don't compensate it for all the hustle I've demanded from it, right? I think that's all it was. I had the mental awareness of things that I really wanted to get to and take care of, but just deep, something deep inside of me was just like, nah, I don't think we will. And so most of the weekend was spent trying to learn how to steer into that. So that's kind of like what today is about, is just sort of like when you get into burnout, and I would love to hear what, Uzi, what you do when you need to just like sort of, if you ever experience burnout, Uzi, I don't know, like you're such a workaholic, but like still you're human. So I imagine there has to be some moment of that, but you tell me. But like, I just really learned this weekend, like, okay, this is a great refresher course on sometimes you have to just yield to what you need. And you need to honor the fact that sometimes you just need a fucking break. And so I learned to sort of steer into the burnout, right? Like just kind of like, you steer into the swerve, right? When you're starting to lose control, that's how you allow yourself to drift. And so I was like, all right, this is where it's going. You clearly do not have the bandwidth to be dealing with anything, even stuff that you're excited about, even stuff like streaming or competing and doing actor shit and whatever it is. It's like nothing, doing the laundry, doing the dishes, like nothing, none of that's getting done. It just isn't. And you're just going to have to allow yourself the space to be okay with that. And not be so afraid, because I know a lot of the anxiety is just this fear of like, oh no, but then it's all going to fall down on me, and like, I'm going to be ruined, and I'll never catch back up. And it's just like, no, dude, like the rat race convinces you that you need to catch up and that you need to be on top of all these things all the time. It's not, that is a man-made construct, right? Like just take the time and do you. Even my therapist is like, yeah, that's one of the biggest middle fingers you can give to like, the establishment is getting your rest, because the establishment just wants us to be worker bots until the day we expire. Because of that, a lot of us expire sooner rather than later, and that's not cool. So an actual intentional act of resistance is to rest. And when I really step outside myself, and I will catch up with you, I really do realize, like, wait a minute, yeah, like I know you have to kind of play the game to not die, right? In our society, but at the same time, never lose track of the fact, Phil, that this is all bullshit. Like making money is bullshit. status and reputation is bullshit. Like, climbing the social all this stuff is bullshit. Being plugged into social media 24/7 is bullshit. Like, the need to constantly be relevant is bullshit. It's all bullshit. The system is designed to make us play these games, but that's not really what life is. And it's important to take those moments to pause, process, and sort of take take yourself back, from the system, and go, no, I own me. I'm me, and I only get to do this life once, and I'm not going to spend every ounce of it making sure my corporate masters are okay with my productivity, or jumping through hoops and all this other bullshit. Like, I have to be a free living human being. And so, yeah, it was rough. And again, I was in severe like pain crisis throughout the weekend, but and a lot of painkillers. But like, I just had to just sort of go, okay, this is no different from the physical pain you're feeling right now. Like, right now you're in some sort of mental anguish. You're trying to push, when you don't have anything left to push with, and it's torture. So just play Marvel Rivals. Just play Rivals to your heart's content. And take your naps, and remember to feed yourself. Get some food in you. Reach out to people when you need to reach out. I reached out Thursday or Friday. I reached out to my sister. Shout out to Rowdy Ray Ray, and was just like, hey, I actually reached out to my my Marvel Rivals team, my faction, and was just like, hey, if anybody can hop on, I could use the company right now. And my sister just happened to be the one that responded, and so she hung out with me on Discord, and we just vibed, and it really did something for my mental health to just do that, because I knew I was just like, anxiety was just like eating me up for not being productive. And so it was cool. I knew with somebody I vibed with and loved and cared about and, thought highly of, I knew that I could just it would help pull me out of myself. That's one of my go-to tools to dealing with anxiety or depression, really, is just sort of making sure that I know when to sort of tap someone on the shoulder and be like, hey, I could use your help. Like, I don't need you to really do a whole lot of anything. I just need to be around you, with you, engage. And by default, something starts to happen. You stop focusing so much on yourself and your problems, and you're focused on this other person. And so that's one of my go-tos. Works better than like any medication I can take, which I do take medication regularly, but like, this is another tool in the arsenal. And so shout out to Sis for doing that. Ooh. Okay, so I invited me to Marvel Rivals, and I was trying to figure out who the fuck they are. I'm not going to play right now, but I'm just going to screenshot this and see if I want to deal with them later. Or I'll go to their profile. How about that? View. Wait, where's the view? Oh, there it is. Oh, that's like their for real PlayStation profile. I was trying to find, whatever. This is not important. I'm not playing Rivals right now. So the thing is, I think, just learning to lean on those tools, that I found over the years through therapy, through just lived experience. I know when I'm starting to hit critical mass, and I need to just, reach out. And so I did, and that worked. So I talked to my sister for a little bit. I reached out to another friend in my neighborhood, and was just like, another actor friend, gonna make a ham sandwich? Go for it. Enjoy that sandwich. And I'll catch up on your chat as well. Thanks, Uzi. But like, I reached out to another friend who's an actor friend of mine who lives in my neighborhood, and was just like, hey, I'm really struggling to get anything done. Like, could you just come by? And I think if you just here with me, I'll be able to sort of put one foot in front of the other and like do something, get some things off the to-do list. Unfortunately, she wasn't available, but at least I reached out, and, she was very upfront about it. Just like, oh, I'm working, but like, does Wednesday work or whatever? And like, I was like, we'll check back in Wednesday. It's all good. I reached out to a former therapist of mine who is out of state. I have a new therapist now who's in, Los Angeles, but I've reached to a former therapist of mine, really, really great dude. And I was just like, hey, I know once upon a time we talked about maybe doing some like, life coaching sessions. And I think that might be worthwhile because, like my therapist now, like we're great together, but like, the focus is more my mental, emotional health and just sort of tools to sort of regulate, my emotions and nervous system and like navigate life. And, we're really focused on just like keeping me internally healthy. Whereas I feel like I could still use like a kind of a life coach, not in the sense of like I need a guru to like tell me how to live life. I need more of a life coach to help me be accountable to my own goals and my own sort of, the things I need to get done. And somebody who understands me and knows how to support that in the right ways. Because there's certain times when, like this weekend, like tough love absolutely would not work. Like just yelling at me and being like, hey, get it together, and just like, toughen up and do the thing. Like that shit never really fucking works for me. Like when I'm working on my craft, a tough acting coach absolutely is fucking fire. Somebody who's just gonna be straight with me and be like, nah, bro, that wasn't it. Do it again. You missed this opportunity. Like, I don't mind a tough teacher. But like when it comes to my mental health and my personal goals and things like that, I really need somebody who is able to tell me the straight up truth, but also be mindful of the fact that I am under a lot of stress and pressure. And I need to I do still need some support. You know what I mean? Like, don't tear me down right now. I've had people try that. I've had people try to just like snap me out of it with tough love, and it always backfires. Either I'm going to get defensive and attack back, or more likely I'm just going to implode. I'm just going to feel worse about myself and then less motivated to do anything. So I've reached out to this performer therapist because I know he understands. We worked together for years, so I know he understands me, and I know he's aware. I have to update him because it's been some time, but he's aware of like what I'm trying to do with my life, and he might be a good help or resource to like be like, hey, just helping to keep these things in front of me. I try my best to keep things in front of me. I have a calendar. I'm trying to get on Drado's tip and like have like an actual dream board or vision board, so that, and like have that stuff like on my computer screensaver, my phone, whatever, have it in front of me in places visually so I can remember where I'm going as life tries to distract me with all this bullshit that I also have to deal with. And so I would love to do more of that. I need to get on that, but I do at least put stuff in my calendar. I do at least, put stuff in my notes and my journals and all that stuff. And I'm trying to work on it, but at the same time, like, I think having that extra, just having another person in the corner just does wonders for my mental health, as far as just like blocking out the noise. It's such an interesting thing, but like, just having the right person in front of me, whether physically in front of me or just even just having them in my ear talking to me, can make a huge difference in my ability to just make, take everything one slice at a time and build gradually towards what it is I'm trying to accomplish. So I think that's one of the things I'm really working on, and I have a clip for you guys. But in the meantime, let me see what Uzi had in here. At the end of the day, as long as you're not working the corner, life is always going to be enjoyable. Hooker jokes to lighten the moment. I appreciate you, Uzi. I really do fucking appreciate you. My burnout assist is sipping a brew and cracking card packs, literally. Oh, that's what's up. That's fucking fire, Uzi. I appreciate that. Yeah. It's important to know how to get yourself out of spirals or anxiety or burnout. And the thing about burnout is like getting out of it is really a lot of just really being patient with yourself as you allow yourself to go through it. At least for me. Like, I'm not one who's gonna like crack the whip and eventually and just snap out of burnout, because the whole point is when you're in burnout, you're already deprived of what you need to keep going forward. So just yelling at myself, like, if I just need to go a couple inches more, if I just need to go a little bit further, and I know for sure once I cross this threshold, I'm gonna stop and I'm really going to take that break, then yeah, I can use a little bit of cattle prodding to get me across that threshold. But that's not what I was up against this weekend. I wasn't up against like, I'm so close to the finish line. I'm in that, this looks like it's never going to fucking end, place. And I know I have to keep going because that's the only way my life is going to get any better. But and I never lost the optimism. I was talking to my therapist about this today. I didn't lose the optimism. Intellectually, the optimism remained. Like, intellectually, I understood that not only can I make my life better by doing the necessary work and asking for help where I needed, and staying consistent and all that good stuff. Like, not only is it possible, but that's absolutely what I'm doing. However, I knew that in my head, so it wasn't all bleak, but like emotionally, it just felt like, bruh, is this just your life now? This fucking sucks, And so there's that distance between the head and the heart, that I was talking about earlier, where the mind knows, hey, no, this is just, you're just feeling it right now. This too will pass. Like, you're gonna get to the other side of this. You have it within you to do even more great things, and I have no doubt that you will. However, I just can't make any of this happen right now. Like, emotionally, I just couldn't really, my spirit just wasn't there. So I had to fucking like take a knee, and that's okay. And I had to, like, to use another metaphor again, just spin into the burnout, embrace the burnout for what it is. Because really it means that I've asked too much of myself for too long, and I haven't been refilling the tank adequately, right? And so there's a cost for everything. There's a cost for everything we do, and sometimes it really pays off, and you feel good about it, and other times you feel like you got ripped off, like and you're walking away empty-handed. So it's good to be intentional about the risks you take and the costs that you're willing, the money, the sort of life currency you're willing to put on the table. It's good to be mindful of that and go, okay, I can go this hard for this long, but I also need to counterbalance that with something to put wind back in the sails at some point. So much going on right now. I mean, good news. My adoptive mom had surgery earlier today, and or just had to like more of a look at something pretty serious, and like, she's okay. They did their job, and like, she's fine. She's gonna go home, like, and I'm thankful for that. And that also puts in perspective again what's really important. But there's just so much going on. So much I'm trying to process, so much I'm trying to sort through and make work, and let go of. And so that's never ending work. More of that stuff shows up every day. And with that, it's important to remember to recognize when you need something and just fill that need, to the best of your ability. So that's what I did. I spent the weekend, and I just was like, all right, we're just, we're on painkillers, and we're up till, we're up at weird hours because the medicine makes me sleep during the day. And so like, I'm just up late, grinding in Rivals, I got some interactions in with the big bro. I got some interactions in just the other day with Drado. Shout out to the homie Drado. I've been okay with that. I haven't felt 100% great, but like, I actually was able to come back down and just be like, hey man, this is what it is right now. This is no different than you breaking your leg or something. Like, you're gonna have to give that the time and proper treatment to heal. Because if you try to run on a broken leg like it's just as good as it's always been, you fuck up more shit. Not only do you fuck up that leg, possibly beyond repair, but you also, like, everything's connected. Now you got back problems. Now you got hip problems. Now you got, neck problems because you've been walking on this limb that's not healed. So I really think that that's, when it comes to mental health, it's the same thing. A lot of people don't believe that's true. They believe just mind over matter, just do it, like a fucking Nike ad or some shit. But it's like, no, your mental health is real. Your mental capacity and bandwidth is real. It's a real thing. And if you don't take care of your mental health and treat yourself to some kindness, then what happens after a while is that you do severe damage there, and potentially irrevocable damage to your mental health. That was one of the things that freaked me out the most when I was really going through it as a teenager on my mental health journey. Like, the medical professionals I worked with really were like, look, you don't want to let it get into this kind of crisis mode. You don't want to let it get this bad over and over again, because the more you allow yourself to have these sort of like full-blown episodes, the higher risk it has of doing like permanent brain damage, like, and reconfiguring how your brain, processes things, and fucking up your nervous. Like, you can do so much harm by not addressing, your mental health properly. Because then, like, the longer you let it go untreated, or the longer you push through it and all that stuff, what happens is it becomes more of a permanent part of you, in a more severe way. And so it's important to take those opportunities to treat your whole health, your holistic health, mind, body, spirit, seriously, and to honor it. And so that's what I did. I just been chilling. I've just been on a low radar. I know I didn't get to stream. I think I streamed one day last week. And I wasn't very social either, but like, I just needed to duck down and reload, to use a Mike Shinodaism. And so I was doing that, and to some degree I'm still doing that. I streamed Monday. I'm glad I got on Monday. I got on early Monday instead of doing my late night stream. And then I barely got on stream today, but I did. And that's another thing, trying to make sure I include things that I enjoy, right? Build something into your schedule that you can look forward to. Like, that's, again, the shit I be saying is very relevant to me all the time. So I noticed last year I didn't stream as much, and it was like because I was in crisis and I was trying to survive. I was surviving a lot of bullshit, and so I didn't stream as much. But I was like, yeah, but that sucks though, because you actually really do get something back from streaming. By the way, I'm glad you have your toasted ham sandwich. That sounds so good. Or at least I think I may have had too many of those when I was a kid, so I think I may not probably. No, I take that back. A good sandwich I'll take on any day. Doesn't matter. I'll take a good sandwich any day. I just can't do cheese, obviously, but I can have a good ass ham sandwich, a pastrami sandwich, turkey, roasted chicken breast, all that good stuff. Man, I keep wanting to buy more sandwiches, like sandwich stuff from the store, because I used to do that all the time. I used to make sandwiches all the time when I was a kid, a teenager, a young adult. But like, for some reason, what happens recently is if I buy bread and sandwich materials, I just forget about them and they go bad and I throw them away. And I'm like, that fucking sucks. Thursday I'll be making roast thyme lamb steaks in honor of my grandfather's B-Day. Well, shout out to your granddad, and shout out to you, Uzi. That's what's up. You saying Thursday reminds me, for a quick moment, taking a pause in this conversation to remind everybody, we are, over here at the Special Meter channel, we are just reminding everyone who wants to participate, there is a global strike going on every Thursday for support of, Palestine and Gaza and its inhabitants. Palestinians are, I mean, as much as I'm, talking about going through it, like, there's just a whole other world of abuse and suffering going on there. Genocide's being committed against these people, and it is directly tied to how the companies that we invest in, and like them having political power and say over who our allies are and the enemies are and all that stuff. Like all that political stuff is real. So every Thursday, we've been organizing. I'm part of a global effort to, essentially divest and just like the idea is that making it every Thursday as opposed to just doing one boycott day or something like that. Like, we did I think a while back we did a boycott against Target and they took a hit that day, but it was just like, it's just a one day just to send a message. But because of the severity of what's the atrocities being committed against the Palestinians, it's important to do this every week so that they know that it's very clear, like clearly they're putting we're putting our foot down as a community. And so the idea, you can find out more about it. I'll probably share a link or something. I need to make sure I have that link on hand more often so you can get to the Human Project and learn more about what it is they're doing. And I want to make it very clear, it's not a strike from work. We're not quitting our jobs or just not showing up for employment. Like no, they're not asking that. Like we get that we all need to just fucking eat and survive, and we live under capitalism and you gotta show up for work and stuff. So we get that, but what it is more like on Thursdays, just not doing commerce if we can help it, as much as we can help it. Like if you gotta go to work and you need to call an Uber, then so be it. But as much as you can, just not feeding into the economic machine on Thursdays until we kind of bust their balls enough for them the powers that be to yield and to actually do the right thing. And so that's what that's what we're doing right now. Aside from that, so that's every Thursday. I don't stream on Thursdays, so I try to remind y'all ahead of time. I think Tuesday's the perfect spot for it because Tuesday's the big, serious talk days. So I try to remind y'all ahead of time because I won't be here to do any of that on the actual day. So, and plus I have apheresis this Thursday anyway, so I'm gonna be zonked. But yeah, just want to let y'all know that's what we're trying to do around here. There's not a lot I felt like I could do in this horrible time, but I did feel like here's a simple action I can take that does have an impact. And if you know your history, you know that boycotts and strikes of these natures, those are the things that mainly turn the tide politically, because while, obviously hashtags and catchphrases like Free Palestine and all that won't stop bombs from dropping, divesting from these companies and fucking up their money, they tend to start to act real different when you do that. Because ultimately, I think that's our best weapon, that kind of solidarity. Because even the threat of physical violence isn't enough to scare, these sort of corporate entities, these soulless corporate entities. That probably is not going to work. But yeah. That's something that I wanted to put out there. And again, I don't think this is the sole solution either. I think it's a multifaceted issue that needs a multifaceted approach to resolve. And it's just sort of a way to everyone can do a little bit to support a collaborative effort. And no, I see you, Uzi. I appreciate you. It's just a way to do a little bit to help. Because I'm not equipped to go over there and fight the IDF or anything like that, and I'm not equipped to do a lot of anything physically in this situation. But this is like a low bar of something I can do pretty easily. It's easy enough for me to just spend one day of a week not shopping. So that's something. We'll see how it turns out in the long run. But I'd rather be trying something than just saying this is wrong, boo, and then not doing anything. I'd rather be trying something than just not than just regurgitate the sort of echo chamber of this is really bad, it's wrong. Well, yeah, but what can we do though? And I don't remember the name of the individual that put this together, but that called for this, but really I appreciate them sounding the alarm and giving us something, kind of rallying us to do something collectively, because that's where we have the most power. It's not that we don't have the those of us who care about this and have the empathy. We don't have the weapons, and we don't have the necessarily the means that people have been trying to get food into Gaza and things like that, but that shit's been shut down. So all attempts to like get medical aid and food and things like that into the Palestinian people has been completely sabotaged and destroyed, and people have been murdered trying to do this by the IDF and by the Israeli state, government. So, but this is something we can do. That might motivate motivate the corporate motherfuckers and their political puppets to pull support from the Israeli government as it is. So, yeah. Anyways, that's my topic about this. I get that it's for some people it's seen as divisive or whatever, but I mean, anyone who's been hanging here anyone who's been hanging here in the long run and is still here knows what I'm about. So you cannot be surprised by me fighting the power. We have an ad break for 30 seconds. But yeah, like nobody who's been really fucking with the Phil Special Meter channel can possibly be like, oh, how dare you take this political stance? It's like, you've missed all of my streams. Plus, for me, it's not political. It really is ethical. It really is just basic fucking human decency. But anyways, Uzi, this is one of those things that gets me in a heavy 50-page rant. That's my 2 cents with respect to the case. No, I appreciate you. I mean, Phil could ham it up on the battlefield as a distraction, Mr. A-list actor over here. I appreciate you bringing the humor, keeping it light, Uzi. I appreciate you, for real. And that's what we need, that's what keeps these streams what they are. At the end of the day, we're still here to enjoy each other's company. But yeah, I wanted to share with you guys a clip that just kind of really helped me recently with this whole burnout thing and this whole like mental health thing. I saw it months ago because I watched the whole interview and it was great. But I just happened upon the clip again tonight. Excuse me. I just wanted to share that with you. Where's that? This is not what I wanted. Oh yeah, this is what I wanted. Hooray! All right, I think this will do. That'll do, donkey. That'll do. Now, I guess I should probably frame this. Let's go here. Okay, so. No, not my camera fucking up. Hold on. Is that a different... Do I use a different, like, camera for this one? What is going on? That's crazy, because my camera is working, because I'm here. Ta-da! But this screen is being all kinds of fucking weird. Let me see if... Where's my camera? Where is it? Oh, yeah. Bear with me. The fuck, what? See that, and then let's change this and be like, actually, that is so... That is the weirdest shit I have seen. Like, what do I use here? Oh, this is Phil's screen. Maybe that's what I need to do. Wait. So yeah, maybe he's just using some outdated shit over here. Like, so let me add this group. let me do triage on my stream right here. But I will in real talk say this. Gaza has been a centuries war that will never end. Tis my too long didn't read of 50 pages. Something never ending as long as the species we call humans exist. Clearly resonate identifying as a canine humanoid in context. I understand that sentiment. And that's where we diverge. I really do believe this is something that is fixable. Um, and we've as a people we have fixed things like this before. Obviously, this particular situation has been going on much longer than a lot of things that we faced before. But there was a time when it seemed impossible to end slavery in America, which you can debate. Actually, slavery never really did end, but you know what I mean. Like as far as the very explicit, you know, very tactile, real sense of like people owning people, like slavery seemed like it was just the norm. It was accepted for hundreds of years, right? Like it's just the way we do things. But we did turn that tide. Um, there are other examples in human history, like apartheid in South Africa. Seemed like that shit was just gonna go on for fucking ever, but we did turn that tide. I think there's some sort of like almost. I think the religious context of like Israel Palestine seems for a lot of people like, oh, it's this ancient like holy war that can't end, and I'm just like, no, no. And mostly it's not even really about the religion. People just that's just something powers that are involved hide behind, but it's really just about colonization and dehumanization and land and resources and the same bullshit we always squabble over as human beings. And so I really do believe this is something we can do something about. Can we end the cycle of violence here on Earth? Most likely not. No. I do believe that human beings will continue to find reasons and ways to destroy one another, but I do think that we can make things better. Um, Ever the optimist. Where is this? Where's I have this group. Why is it not in here? Like what the fuck? Hold on. This thing's being very weird. Oh, there it is. There it is. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, cool. So that's working, but whatever the fuck's going on in here is not. So I have to, again, doing triage on the fly here, y'all. This is gonna get messy. Why don't we just go ahead and whoop? Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine. But thank you for asking if I'm sure. That was very polite of you, OBS. All right. And then now, almost like Legos. And then, oh wait, I see why that doesn't work. Hold on, cause okay, then maybe this is all I need. You just take this resource. Where is it? Hey, stop fucking with me. There we go. And we're gonna put you behind the webcam frame. Splat out. Oh shit. Does that change it in? I think that changes it here though. No, it doesn't. Just in that one scene. Okay. Right? Maybe? Let's see. Let's just make sure. Where is it here? Fill screen. I have a really important like discussion piece. Stop this. Stop this. Intermission cam. Okay, fill special cam. Okay, so my bad. So what I need to do, because I think if I go probably here, yeah, that's what I thought. So that doesn't work. All right, I know how to fix it. I can fix it. What we do is we go down here to where's copy? Great, love that for us. And then wait. Hold on. Oh, thanks for the lurk, Neko. Special cam. Go back inside of the fill screen, yeah, and then now I know what resource to look for. So that is media source. Fill. Remember your ABCs. You can do this. Oh, it's not there though. The fuck you mean? The fuck you mean it's not in here? Come on. So, all right, we'll just copy. No, the point was. All right. Right. Okay, that's better. Yeah. Yeah. Wait a sec. All right, now, now I just need. I don't like hate that. In fact, no, we're gonna do this proper. All right, so paste. Okay, so almost there. Sick. Let's give this some color so I can find this easier later. Set color as, we'll use kind of the cyan, and then we can remove this, right? We don't need you anymore. That's it, it's okay. Touchdown! There's some other sports reference that makes sense. All right, cool. So, thanks for your patience, for everybody. All right, so anyways, this part. So, Roger Craig Smith. Many of you in the gaming community probably already know who he is, but for those who don't, Roger Craig Smith is a prolific voice actor. He is very well known for various roles in video games and animation. Hey, what's up, bro? Thanks for stopping in. Aren't you still live? I had to like say what's up earlier and kind of bounce because I went live. Thanks for stopping in, bro. I appreciate you. But yes, this is Roger Craig Smith, and he is a prolific voice actor in the world of video games and animation. So he is. No, I'm toast. Oh, okay, got you. Fair enough. Well, thanks for dropping by, bro. He is known for lots of different roles. You may know him as Chris Redfield from Resident Evil 5 and onward. That's what I tend to think of when I think of Roger Craig Smith. And then he's also known for being Batman in Arkham Origins. He is also known for being for many of you, probably most famously known for being the voice of Sonic the Hedgehog in most of the 3D Sonic video games from the, kind of like the Sonic Adventure era onward, I believe. Um, so he's done a lot of really fun, really cool stuff. He's also known for being Captain America and like Earth's Mightiest Heroes and some of the Capcom versus Marvel games and other shit. He gets around. He works pretty consistently. He gets to play a lot of cool roles. And like I watched this whole ass interview, which if anyone's interested, I'll share the link to this whole interview he gave at this convention. But given the topic for today, I really thought that this really tied in. And so, just like I was talking about kind of steering into the burnout that like I felt this last week or this last weekend, where I was just like, I just don't have anything else to give. And I don't, even though I have stuff I need to do, I just can't seem to make myself do it. Learn to steer into that and like give yourself that space. And I think he has something really kind of interesting to say along the same lines about like dealing with anxiety specifically. He talks about dealing with anxiety as a voice actor. So we're gonna 86 this music for real quick. And we are going to check out this clip and hopefully, let me make sure now. I need the audio, I just need there we go. I need this to be, let me see, hold on. Let me start it a little bit early just so I can test sound.
And meeting people that consume the art that you are so lucky to get to be a part of, that you just go, oh, that's right.
It worked. Sick.
You were in this and this and that, and the connection between this and easily one of the greatest directors of all time. You're like, yeah, I knew it. Yeah, I knew it. They hired me, so yeah.
Is there at any point in the process where you tend to feel a little anxious about it? And if so, how do you generally deal with that?
This is a great question, because this is also along the lines when people say, is there one bit of advice for somebody who wants to get into voice acting that you could give? And I used to say all the things. Read Yuri and Tara's book, go to D. Bradley Baker's website, that kind of thing.
Right.
I've changed my answer to the pat answer now. It used to be even more interesting where I would say, like, hey, you're never going to have my career. And then I would wait for somebody to go like, and they go, and I'm never going to have yours. I have no idea what you bring to this industry. I had no idea what I was doing. We all got to find our way. Everybody that's in the business has a different way of getting in. I used to say that. Right now what I go with, because it's along the lines of your question, is just mental health, mental health, mental health, mental health, mental health. There's nothing that we can achieve in any way, shape, or form that we want to set our sights and our minds to if we don't get our heads kind of screwed on straight, if we don't kind of understand ourselves and get things kind of figured out. And anxiety in a session and that kind of thing is very normal. And there are times I've excused myself. I had a lot of family drama that was taking place during Arkham Origins. And at one point I found myself feeling kind of just very not willing to accept direction. And I went, I need a break. And I just literally took the headphones off. And this was with Amanda, who is a dear friend of mine, who was the director. And she looked at me and I just said, I got to step out. And I just stepped away and I went outside and I kind of walked the halls, and it took like 5 minutes to just kind of like remind myself of where I was at, what I was in control of, what I could do about what the world was presenting. And it was just like, calm down and get through and just go do the work and make it small. And that to me is just an aspect of mental health, which is like, yeah, just understand if you're feeling anxious, take a second, step away. You're a human being. There's a lot of pressure at this stuff. And it's like, and anything in a creative endeavor, we always are insecure. It's just, we're sticking our necks out to say, I have this energy I want to share. I've got this thing I got to do. I don't know why it's in me. I got to get it out. And by doing so, somebody's going to go like, you're not as good as Jaleel. And you're just like, really? Sorry, but I'm not him. And you know, that kind of thing. It's like those things are out there. And so just understanding that about yourself and kind of being like, yeah, but at least, you know, we're going to try to execute. And that's just rooted in mental health. So take a second, be human. Oh, yeah. You are.
So yeah, that's the clip for today. Take a second, be human, because you are. Now, I'm taking this concept and sort of stretching it out to whatever length of time you need to do that for. Sometimes, like Mr. Smith over here, you just need to take 5 minutes, right? Allow yourself to get up, walk away, remind yourself of like you said, just sort of like, what's going on? How are you feeling inside? What can you actually control, what can you actually do something about, and then also, just sort of what's the next logical like step, which is, I love that he said make it small. Just focus on doing this thing. And that really helps. Sometimes you just need the mental reset. And sometimes that can be 5 minutes. Sometimes you need 5 hours. Sometimes you need like a fucking day. Sometimes you need a weekend or a week, whatever it is. But it's important to recognize that you're in over your head, recognize that you are having this experience, and instead of just trying to power through it like it's not happening, it's important to remember at times to give yourself some space to acknowledge that, no, this is happening, and I really do need to I really do need just like a moment I need some time to get healthy. And then you can, take that breath and you can move forward. And just like the analogy I used earlier, it's like having very like an injured limb, like you're on a severely injured leg, you have a break somewhere, and if you just keep going on it like nothing happened, that's going to catch up with you, right? Like, or any other part of your body, right? Like you can have a neck injury, and if you just ignore it, it's going to keep getting worse. Like, and we sometimes understand this about our physical form, but I think there are times where we really struggle to acknowledge this with our mental health, which your brain is still a physical part of you, and it is impacted by the way that you treat it. So just like you shouldn't run on a fucking sprained ankle, I find for myself, I'm not going to just keep going on a beleaguered, exhausted, anxiety-ridden, depressed, stressed out of my fucking mind state of being. Like, yes, I have chronic depression. I have chronic, I have certain amount of anxiety that follows me every day. I do have certain elements to my mental health that are just going to be with me for presumably the rest of my life. That said, yes, there are times where I do have to just work through that. But there's a difference between just learning to live with a certain amount of depression and anxiety and still show up and still do things. There's a difference between that and ignoring that you are running on E and just going, I'll tough it out. Like, for me, I can't speak to what everyone's experience is, but for me, that's a bad call. That will not end well. And it's better for me to recognize, like, okay, I just don't have anything left to give right now. It's better to just be mindful of that and recognize it and learn to sort of steer into that burnout than to try to fight against it indefinitely and end up with potential like irrevocable harm to my mental health. Because just like a physical, like I said earlier, just like a physical injury, if you have a psychological wound and you do not treat it, you often make it worse. And sometimes if you make it worse and it goes unchecked for a long time, it can become permanent. That's actual science. Your brain chemistry changes when you go through things. It's why, again, the trigger warnings pinned to the top of chat. I know this could be touchy stuff for some people, but like that's why when you have a traumatic experience, like oftentimes you're not the same afterwards, right? Doesn't mean you can't function. Doesn't mean you can't experience health and wellness and life, but it just means that you have to do things a little differently after certain traumas have taken root, especially if they're things that just went unaddressed for a long time. So yeah, it's just important to do that. So all that to say, I really appreciate what Roger Craig Smith shared here about mental health in regards to, getting through work and responsibilities, because it's a very real thing. Give yourself that moment. Allow yourself to be human. One of my mentors in life, wonderful woman, who's just become a lifelong friend and mentor. Just sort of the Yoda to my Obi-Wan. But yeah, she really taught me when I was a teenager. She taught me that, she's the one I get the quote from where I'm like, the inbox is always full, so you need to know when to clock out. She gave me that gem, but she also gave me, along with that, she shared with me a Jewish tradition. She's of Jewish heritage. She wasn't, practicing in the religion or anything, but, she still comes from that culture. And, the things she learned are very important to her. So she shared with me the concept of sitting Shiva, which is a Jewish tradition of mourning, right? Like when somebody dies, Shiva being Hebrew for 7, they essentially give themselves, culturally speaking, traditionally speaking, they give themselves 7 days to just grieve and to really grieve. Not bullshit, not say you're okay when you're not okay, but allow the impact to hit, allow it to sink in, give yourself that time to not necessarily go to work, not necessarily, handle too many responsibilities, but just allow yourself to take that week, that 7 days, and just fucking grieve. And then the important thing that my mentor shared with me was, but that's after the 7 days, you have to get back up and you have to resume your life. Now, that's not to suggest that any hurt or loss you experience is going to be solved in a certain amount of time. That's not the point. The point is, at some point, you do have to get back up and put one foot in front of the other. So it's honoring yourself in two ways. By creating that boundary of I'm giving myself 7 days. I'm not going to do, I'm going to just feel this and I'm going to take care of myself. And, we're going to share food and we're going to get through this difficult time. By giving yourself space to stop and process, you're honoring yourself. But also by setting a boundary of when that full stop needs to end, you're honoring yourself by, giving yourself a specific, place and time to start to put one foot back in front of the other. So it's hey, for 7 days, we're just going to shut this shit down. And then, but after the 7 days, even though we're still going to be healing, we're still going to be grieving, we're still going to be processing, after the 7 days, it's okay, let's start to resume activity and normal social stuff and work stuff and whatever, right? And I really appreciate her sharing that with me, because it really changed my perspective on, what it means to heal and what it means to give yourself grace and what it means to, sort of adapt and yeah, allow yourself to be a person, allow yourself to be a human being. We all heal in different ways and different times. We have different techniques that work for us at different places. Sometimes the technique I use to get out of a bad place today will not work tomorrow. And that's why it's important for me to develop multiple tools in my arsenal, because there are plenty of mental health days where it's just nope, that didn't work. Nope, not the wrench, not the screwdriver, not not the hammer. And until you find the actual tool that's going to help at that particular juncture, and often a combination of the tools, right? So distraction, like I said, I spent a lot of the weekend playing Marvel Rivals. Like I said, I talked to my, I reached out to the group chat for my Rivals faction and just said, hey, could somebody just keep me company? I could use it. And my sister showed up and we hung out, that night. I at least tried to reach out to some individuals to help with, maybe a more structured motivational program of okay, maybe I need an accountability partner, maybe I need, some life coaching or whatever. And I made those calls, and though they didn't come to fruition this weekend when I needed it the most, it still at least started the process so that I will have those resources going forward. And just, meeting that potential new friend for breakfast on Saturday, even though I felt like absolute shit Friday. And mind you, again, I had both mental health issues and I was in a lot of sickle cell pain. So like there was legitimate reason to just be like, nah, I'm just not going to do it. But like, you find the things that help you, and you use those tools, and, to the best of your judgment and ability. And you give yourself a lot of patience, a lot of grace, because you're a person, and life is like, I'm not gonna front, life is pretty screwed up, right? Like life is pretty screwed up. So like maybe go easy on yourself when you think you're not doing enough or whatever. Sometimes you have to be real honest, and yeah, maybe you aren't doing enough. But even then, okay, I find it for myself to be more helpful to find ways to, well, then how do we build towards doing more, as opposed to just berating myself and, whatever for not doing enough. That still happens. I still have those days, those moments. But yeah, no, this was just really helpful to me. Again, I saw this, I don't know, I probably watched this interview like last year or something, or maybe even before, but it was just really helpful that it happened to pop up again in my feed this year. And I was just like, oh, yeah, that part. So yeah, whether it's 5 minutes or 7 days or whatever it is, it's not really the length of time that matters most. There's no magic number. It's just recognizing that you need a break and committing to actually taking it. Just like you would honor any of your other commitments. And that's what I got for y'all this week, as far as like this talk session for Talk Through It Tuesday. That was the main thing I wanted to really get into. It's relevant because I'm still in it. I'm still coming out the other side of burnout. I'm not done yet. I've been going pretty hard, and I just needed to ease up a bit. But I don't know, I think talking about it helps maybe, and maybe it'll provide something useful for somebody else who happens to wander upon this VOD later on. So that's the idea. But I do not want to end it there. What we're going to do now instead is switch gears. So like, given that Tuesdays are just designated for like kind of more real life discussion material, that can get heavy sometimes. I am going to switch gears and make sure that we do something fun directly after. So here's what we're going to do. I gotta look at this. Actually, I can just go to the game screen. This will be perfect. I love this for us. Oop. It's the infinite loop. All right, there we go. So all right, here we are. I got somebody's personal business up here. My bad, yo. I don't even know who that person is. They invited me to a game of Rivals while I was having this talk. We're going to do something silly. This is partially inspired by Uzi and partially inspired by some random YouTuber I came across. How should I'll just change the Rivals. It's not exactly what we're doing right now, but it's related. So we're going to change the category here. Sick. And then how do I change this on, what's the fastest way for me to change this on the Red app? Let's see. Oh wait, I can't from there because that's the wrong account. I need to log into, meanwhile, guess what? Ooh. Nah, I'm not going to do that. That's lame. I was going to say chicken butt, reaching back to the old school, but that's not what it is. Guess what? You found some rare item. You have a rare item for sale, stranger. That's my best guess, legitimately. Sometimes when people say guess what, they really want, a guess. And other times they're just like expecting you to say, no, what? Let's see. Where is... yeah. Studio. Real quick, y'all. I'm on the Red app, logging into my logging into hard mode selected to make sure I give the right information. What about live? There we go. Edit. There we go. And where's the fucking category? Don't do this to me. Oh yeah. Oh, categories entertainment. Cool. But can I thought there was a way to go deeper and be like, yo, I don't know. We'll still tag it. No. Actually, we won't. We won't fuck with this at all. Fuck it. It's fine. It's fine. People can look and see what's being featured. Uzi. I almost got duped for $100 on eBay till I saw the serial number was missing three numbers. For what? Oh shit. Also, wait, what did you say before that? At least having the game as rivals checks off the timers for Twitch drops. This is true. This is true. Yes, get your Twitch drops. Yeah, get your drops. If you play Rivals, is absolutely use this channel for that. Rivals will be featured here pretty heavily, pretty often. I almost got duped for $100 on eBay until I saw the serial number was missing 3 numbers. Legitimately was so close to biting the bullet and saw the serial last 3 didn't match up with the index. Wait a minute. What are we talking about? What did you find? In any case. All right. Again, partially inspired by Uzi, partially inspired by some random YouTuber. We are going to play... we're going to play Smash or Pass, which is so silly. But fucking just seemed like the goofiest thing I could fucking do. So we have the hero characters. So like Uzi like really like challenged me to do a lot of fuck, marry, kill on this channel. Marvel Rivals has a very large roster and counting, you know, like they're constantly adding new characters. But we're going to play Smash or Pass. And I think we're just gonna go through this whole roster. So let's see where we at. Okay, so Adam Warlock. You know, it really depends. His base design in this game is a bit much for me. Like the runes on his face and everything. I'm like, I don't know, I find it kind of distracting. Like this is kind of his base character model, and like I love this character design from the movie, but I also just have a big crush on Will Poulter, so that makes this very palatable. And also, it's just cleaner, you know, like it's just cleaner. I like, yeah, this Warlock, absolutely smash. This Warlock, which is the base design in this game, you know, no, fuck it. Smash. I think I would be interested. I think I would. Black Panther is like easy. Absolutely smash. Like just like there's no question. This is a beautiful man, who is noble and wealthy and powerful and you know, I mean, just look at this character design. I mean, look at this dude. Just stupid attractive for no reason. So yeah, absolutely smash. Black Widow is pretty easy. It's like definitely smash. Definitely smash. I mean, I don't have to go into any detail there. Blade. Yeah, smash. Okay, so you get a package deal with this one. If you're fucking with Bruce, you're fucking with the Hulk. I feel like from a pure safety standpoint, this is probably a very bad call. Like, you know, just, I mean, I might die. I could very easily die this way. But he's Hulk, though. It seems silly not to say Smash. So yeah, Smash. Cap, absolutely. Cap is just sexy in almost every iteration of the character. Smash. Cloak and Dagger counts as one character slot. So I guess this has to be a threesome. I guess I have to take them both. I guess that's what we're doing. Cloak technically doesn't have a body anymore. Like for the most part, he's got arms, he's got a face, he's got a neck, I guess. I mean, triple time, bitch. Fuck my life. Hey, it's Phil. Phil's the convoy boy. I mean, triple time, bitch. Yeah, that's what you said. Absolutely. You know what? I normally in real life avoid polyamorous situations just because my mental capacity probably couldn't keep up with more than one person at a time. But Smash. I mean, look at them. They're so pretty. They got so much class. I mean, look at that. Look at the fits. Look at the fits. And that's just one of the fits. That's one of the best ones. Even the standard fit's pretty dope. They came out with this shit recently. Like, are we serious? Like, in this version, it's like she's like living fire, kind of. And he's got his whole goth thing going on. Probably not this fit though. I'm not feeling this at all. We're not. There'll be no action in that fit. Smooth criminal vibes, yeah, sure. Kind of has a Doctor Doom like thing going on with the cloak. But yeah, absolutely, Smash. Doctor Strange. You know what? Mad respect for this man, and I'm sure he's good with his hands. But no, I am not. I'm gonna pass. I'm gonna pass on Doctor Strange. I'm not into Doctor Strange like that. Very cool dude though. I mean, this isn't even worth answering. We all know where I'm going with that. Yeah, Smash. I know the internet, and I know there's someone who's gonna say they're very excited about the prospect of this, but absolutely fucking not. Groot is a wonderful being. No, don't look at me like that, Groot. I'm being real. Okay, like, there's no future for Groot and I. Okay, so pass. That just looks painful from every fucking angle of this. But if you want to find out how people feel about Groot, I'm sure you could just Google, like, just search on DeviantArt and you'll get your answer. Hawkeye, not interested. Tannis from Borderlands would smash Groot into dust. Oh my god. I don't know Borderlands. I wish Otter were here. Otter would get that reference. I'm gonna have to look that up. Hawkeye! One of my favorite Avengers of all time. I always love the dudes I always love the characters that hang in with the superpowered characters even when they don't have powers themselves. I always think that makes them 10 times more badass because it means they fucking gotta they really gotta be on their shit to hang with like gods and semi-robot people and mages and whatever. Yeah, shout out to Hawkeye. I'm gonna say, and I guess I should be doing a better job of looking at their default fit. Yeah, I'm gonna say definitely. Yeah, Smash. We'll Smash. Yeah, that's good. I'm not super into guys with long hair. I don't know why that is. I'm just not typically. But you know what? It's Hawkeye. He would be. I feel like he would be very giving, and he would look after me and make sure we're both having a great time. Also, I'm sure he would have like some dope like food in the fridge for afterwards. Like maybe we go for pizza or whatever. Death Goddess Hela. I have mental problems, and I'm willing to own that. And yeah, that's gonna be a Smash. Absolute horrible person if you want to classify her as that. But fucking sexy death goddess. I don't know. Like, I mean, even Star-Lord has that line. Like, if Hela dies when Star-Lord is in the room, he's like, no, not the weirdly hot death goddess. That's actually one of Scott Porter's favorite lines as Star-Lord, as he confirmed at an event I went to recently. All right. What we got? Human Torch. I mean, come on. Absolutely. Swag all day. All the charisma in the fucking world. Look at this. Look at this dude. Yeah. That's not even a hard question. Kind of messed up because they're siblings, but also yes. So smash. So it's 2 smashes in a row. What we got? Mantis? Mantis. I hadn't really thought about this. Now the irony of me playing Smash or Pass is funny because I'm actually extremely demisexual, which for those who don't know, that means basically I really need an emotional connection with somebody before I can have sex with them. So like I can't really like I can't really just do the casual sex thing. So this is absolutely ludicrous that I'm playing this game. But you know, they are fictional characters that I've spent a lot of time with. So in some way it feels like I know them. So sure, you know, maybe it all evens out. But Mantis, otherwise attractive, but like the antennae. The antenna just like I can't get with it. I don't. We're a pass. Ooh, what's this skin? I didn't even know this skin was exist. This is kind of dope though. Like she's very pretty, but just fucking I don't think I would ever fully adapt to what's going on top of her forehead. So I just that may be I don't know. Is that racist? I don't know. She's not real. That does seem kind of shallow. Reed Richards. The Fantastic Four, I feel like a lot of them just kind of pass the fuckability list. Like I think a lot of jokes can be made about what their abilities can bring to the bedroom. But honestly, let me see. What is his standard fit in this game? He's like, well. He's looking at me like his posture's like, don't get this wrong. Let me see. You know, this particular iteration of Reed Richards. No. I'm on the fence, kind of. I'm on the fence. Sexy older men can be cool, but like, just yeah, I don't know. Probably, but then, but what the things he can do though. We're both contemplating. You know, fuck it, smash. What else we got? Moon Knight, my dude, my guy right here. Would I get into bed with Moon Knight? Truth be told, here's a standard fit. He's scary. Like there's just. That's a commitment, right? Like that's a whole, like, cause you're not really sleeping with one dude. You're sleeping with like potentially 3 to 4 guys. I mean, he's one body, but like he's got the alters going. He's got dissociative identity disorder. So I don't want to make it sound like you cannot have a relationship in real life with somebody who has dissociative identity disorder. They deserve to be loved and, you know, have meaningful relationships too. Okay. And get their swerve on. But like, him in particular with his brand of like the extremes of his personalities are so violent and just fucked up. I have to pass. I have to pass my main. but sorry, Moon Knight, we're not compatible. I think you're fucking dope as hell, but like we're not compatible. Oh, this asshole. Fucking. We're gonna go to his standard fit just to be consistent here, but pass. Look, I have to have some standards, and this dude is just such a prick. Like, shout out to the voice actor. I met the voice actor for Namor recently, and he's fucking dope. Just one of the coolest guys, one of the nicest guys you can possibly talk to, and he has such passion for this character, and he loves playing him so much. So shout out to him. But like but Namor as a character is just, he's the fucking worst. Like him and Quicksilver are an absolute pass. Like no, Quicksilver's even like fairly like really pretty, but like no, just no, based on just who they are as people. No, and that's saying something because I just admitted I would get it on with Hela, the goddess of death. This is easy. Pass. Mostly because I think she's a minor, and also just no in general. But like, shout out to Penny Parker. So no go there. Let's see. Jean Grey, aka the Phoenix. You know, as somebody who heavily identifies with Scott Summers, I surprisingly don't have a thing for Jean Grey. Fascinating. But this is specifically Phoenix. Look at that look in her eyes. No, pass. Physically attractive and everything, but just everything that comes with the Phoenix Force being involved in this equation makes it really hard for me to trust her in the bedroom. So we're just gonna not pass. Sorry, Jean. Shout out to the X-Men though. Psylocke. Where's her standard fit? Psylocke. I mean, yeah. I definitely had a crush on Psylocke growing up. Like, definitely had some weird feelings going on playing like X-Men versus Street Fighter or Marvel versus Capcom or whatever games she showed up in. She was always that character that's like, she's just so fucking hot. I don't know what she does. I don't know her story. I don't know anything about her. It's never really clear what's going on with her. But fucking yes, big crush on Psylocke growing up. Even though I knew jack shit about her story or who she was as a person. I later would find out that like there's a lot going on with like her not even being in her original body and like being a telepath that jumped into somebody else's body. It's a whole thing, but which is why she has a British accent. But whatever. Shout out to Psylocke. Where we at? Is that where we're at? Oh. Did I skip anybody? No, we're good. Okay, cool. So Psylocke was last. Absolutely fucking not. We're just gonna go ahead and pass on Rocket because Rocket is a raccoon and I am not particularly a furry. So there's just no version of this that's gonna work out. So that's not gonna happen. But shout out to Rocket. I love Rocket. He's great. Fucking the Scarlet Witch. Okay. So that was not an attack on you, Uzi, or the furry community. I'm not gonna get it on with a semi-anthropomorphic raccoon. The amount of crazy that is going on inside of this woman and the amount of like just sheer destructive for like, I mean, if she just wakes up in a bad mood, she might just be like, no more Phil special meter. And like, I would cease to exist. Right. Like that's a lot. That's a lot to be dealing with. Is she attractive? Absolutely. Is she even more attractive when she's, played by Elizabeth Olsen? Absolutely. And you know what? For Elizabeth Olsen's Scarlet Witch, yeah. Yes, absolutely. I'll take the risk for sure. But for this incarnation, still attractive. It's also hard because like she's so infuriating to deal with in this game. I kind of hate her guts on basic principle, but attractive, yes, but stable and worth it? No. There are some unstable women in fiction that I would still say are worth it. Scarlet Witch is not one of them, so I'm going to say pass. Again, that's just the Marvel Rivals iteration. MCU is different. That's a different deal. Pete! It's weird. I don't normally sexualize Spider-Man. I don't really like, but you know what? No, that's a lie. In the comic books, I think he's hella hot. I forget what he looks like under the mask in this game. There are images of that somewhere. But I will say that just on basic principle, sure, yes. Yes, Peter Parker's got to be a good time. Peter Parker's got to be a great time. Fucking If you really want to see a funny video about it, check out Black Nerd Problems. Omar Holman breaks down what different characters probably fuck like, and like he gives a really hilarious analysis of Peter Parker's bedroom game. But yeah, I mean, look at the women he pulls though, like Mary Jane, fucking Gwen Stacy, fucking Betty Brant, like Felicia Hardy. Come on, like he's pulling some incredible women, and there's got to be a reason for that. So yeah, I would love to find out. Squirrel girl. Here's the thing. I said no to furryism earlier in the form of Rocket. However, she is mostly person with some squirrel-like situation going on. And she's just so fucking thick in this game. Smash. And I'm not proud, but smash. Yeah, sure. No, fuck that. I'm good with this. This is a great decision. Smash. I wonder what she smells like. Daredevil in the comic books does not like the way she smells because she has apparently some sort of kind of musk, squirrel-like musk going on that with Daredevil's heightened senses, he's like, please get away from me. Apparently she has a huge crush on Daredevil, and he's just like Daredevil's if you don't know the comic book lore, Daredevil is a huge slut, okay? Like, Daredevil gets around, okay? Daredevil is absolutely a fuckboy, but you know, even he has standards and limits, and Squirrel Girl was just like, one, he was like, wait a minute, how old are you in that particular comic where they met? And two, he's just like, no, I don't like the way she smells. Which, if you have heightened senses like Daredevil, I get it. But I actually have the opposite thing. I actually typically don't have a very sensitive sense of smell because I have a lot of sinus issues. So maybe I would get by with that. Maybe it'd be fine. She's a hybrid, not a furry, so she ain't in shit in furrydom. Okay, fine. But there's still animal features in play, so I just had to address that. Uzi's a lot more because he shot her down so hard. Oh, fatality, absolutely. Yeah, no, he shut that shit down real quick. He's like, I'm good. I'm gonna go. But yeah, no, Uzi's much more well versed on the degrees of furrydom that exist. She could teach a course. She could write a dissertation. I'm just going off of my bare basic shit knowledge. Star-Lord.